Good afternoon, everybody. It's 3 p.m. We'll call the Kent County Police Accountability Board to order on February 5th, 2025. Remember, all matters discussed about personnel here are confidential and stay within our board. We follow Robert's Rules of Order during meetings, and we also follow the Maryland Open Meetings Act. One little note of kind of, I guess, housekeeping, for lack of a better term, is when we get emails about attending meetings or, a meeting announcements, please try to respond back to them. Mm-hmm. Just so that way we know if someone's not going to make it. It just helps with planning things a little bit better. Did everybody get last month's minutes?
Yes.
Can I get a motion to accept them?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Minutes passed. Old business, annual report. Has anybody, I know Joan has shared some information with me. Has anybody thought any more about some information you would like to see included in the report? And specifically, what we're looking for is community awareness or outreach. Anybody come up with anything other than what has been done in the past? Anything you might want to see? Do you mind if I share some of the things Joan has written a few things, continue to do the ongoing ride-alongs, that's all obviously still there. Frank and I visiting the different community meetings. We have been to Rock Hall, Chestertown, in the county commissioners meeting, but Joan suggested maybe reaching out to like Millington, was it Galena and Better. Yeah. And we'll talk more about that. Frank and I can. She also brought up something that I think is probably a good idea. She calls it a handout. Basically, it's information on what the board is and what we do, what our role is in the community. I don't know if we need a true handout as much as maybe we just need like an information sheet.
Right.
To pass out.
Right.
And to give out.
Everybody asks.
Yep. So maybe that's something we can work on, Frank.
Yep.
I know one of your questions was, do we have a budget for that stuff?
Do we have a PR budget?
That's a pretty easy answer, no.
I'm gonna say it depends.
Yeah.
If we're looking for just like supplies or something like that, like papers printed and things like that nature, is that what you're thinking about, or?
Well, if we wanted to do up a flyer.
A flyer?
I mean,
Yeah.
That's inexpensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we could probably do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, that's all
Yeah.
we need. That
Yeah.
would
You know,
add.
like maybe some lollipops that say
Fancy.
PAB or something. It's possible, if you guys have those ideas, send them to Barry and we'll take them forward. That's what
If anybody's interested, or if anybody here, or that goes to like Lions Club or something, if you talk to them and want somebody to come give a presentation on what the board is, let Frank or I know. We'll gladly do it.
Pete's in the Rotary.
Pete would be a good person to talk for. And I just say that because he's not
Not
here.
here. That's right.
But things like that, like I'm a member of the American Legion. I don't know if they'd want to hear it, but if they did
I
it.
say something to Glenna when she's in Chestertown Lions, and Jerry Rabowitz is in Better,
Okay.
so I'll say something to both of them.
Okay. Anything else for the year in review, like what we want in there? Any questions about it?
You were talking about location, excuse me for cutting you off.
That's right.
I think think it might be a good idea if you hit one or two of the African-American churches. You get, one that's very well attended, considering today's situation, is right up the street here, on Cross and Cannon, James Church. And maybe the other one might be Mount Olive, in Butlertown. That might be two good locations, because they have a bit more larger congregation that might be in
Coleman's
attendance.
Corner, they have a large congregation.
Where?
Coleman's Corner,
Coleman's Corner,
they
right,
have a very large congregation there.
yeah.
Well, if you maybe reach out, and if they
Yeah.
want, and we'll do it.
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see, moving on.
Before you move on that from
Yep.
there, Barry, in the dodgeball game, was that attended by any of the members?
I
No,
don't think so.
okay.
Dodgeball game,
The dodgeball game that was held at the YMCA?
you know anything about it?
Yeah, it was, like, we had a meeting and it was like that, like on a Wednesday, and I think it was that Friday.
Friday night, it was the Friday the 13th.
Yeah. I knew about it, but I was away, I couldn't have attended if I wanted to.
Hearing
I
about
think it was December 13th, I think it was.
But those are all the things I want to include in the report. You know, like the dodgeball, the cookout that they had, the
Yeah.
coffee with the cop, et cetera.
Food trucks, yeah.
And, I'd like to see if maybe we do coffee cup with the cop again, just different, different location. It could be as simple as doing it at Royal Farms,
Yeah.
you know? And moving on, new business. Some computer training was given to, some members of the ACC. I know we don't have laptops for the PAB, but the ACC has county laptops because that's how we review case files, et cetera, on a secured server. And Frank was able to obtain some training here in the county for computers. And we found out that they want to open it up to anybody from the board. If you need some computer training, you have to bring your own. But they'll even do your phone, right? Like if you.
Yeah, and it's open to the public, to the community at large. But the library will give us basically a closed session or wherever for PAB members. And it's not computer training about the county computer system. It's computer training in general. So if you wanted to see how to use like an Outlook program to run your email on your home computer, they will give that to us. And if you just wanted to see anything general, like generally, like I would like to know how to use Word Perfect better, or I would like to use PowerPoint better. They will give us tailored specifically to what we ask them for, and they will give us up to 2 hours at a time, just for asking. So, Mr. Fellows has taken advantage of that. And we actually, with him, went over the county system for the most part, the county computer, the systems that the county uses. He got a brief, well, it was almost 2 hours, a 2 hour session. And maybe Gary, you'd like to let
Sure. The young lady's name was Natalie, and she was marvelous because she just didn't assume that you were a genius. And, most of us old folks aren't IT geniuses. And I said, Natalie, I'm not really sure why I'm here, but I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. So, help me out a little bit. And we started from scratch, and she said, where are you challenged? And I said, I don't think I truly am, but just walk through it. So we did, and obviously you had a number of different icons on your computer. I have yet to find the need for books or what's it called?
Excel.
where you do the financial side.
Excel.
QuickBooks, yeah, we got an icon for that in the thing, but I don't see a need for that. But we ran through Word, we went through Outlook, we went through all those different things, and Teams, we talked about Teams, and we talked about sharing inside information. Obviously, you can't get outside, so our domain is very much restricted, but the using it, and if there are questions, and she was very, very easy to talk to, and she would not challenge you, but ask the question, well, how about this? Are you comfortable with this? So she didn't make you feel like the dumbest fly in the room, if you know what I mean? Which made me feel a lot better, because I was.
It was very useful. Me and Valerie are gonna be going, in 2 weeks, to get some more instruction on different programs. The Microsoft 365 program, like an overview in general, which is one that the county uses quite a bit. And, anyone is welcome to sit in with us, or if there's, if there's a specific, like if you don't use Outlook, but you use another form of email that you would like to know, so when we send out emails, it makes it easier for you to get them and communicate. We can get that specifically from them. When Valerie sends the Outlook invites, they'll show us how to get through, how to send them, how to receive them, how to answer, decline, all that sort of stuff. If that's something that you guys would be interested in sitting through, Miss Natalie will sit down with us and go over it. She's very nice and very informative, and like Gary said, she doesn't expect us to be computer geniuses, which is good for us, and good for me especially, but she's a public library employee, so she's funded with tax dollars for the most part. The county employs several people through the library system. It's open to the public. Every Monday from 9 to 1, they have drop-in sessions where anybody from the community can go in and sit down and ask for some training. They have Wednesdays by appointment, and if we make an appointment for a Wednesday, then she kind of keeps it to just us. So that's out there, and like I said, on the 19th, we'll be heading over to get an overview of what Microsoft 365 can do, because we use it in the county, but about that much of what it can do. It can do a lot more. So we're going to go explore a little bit there.
And they're also doing it again in April, right, for Gary?
And Mr. DeVito is out of town for a couple of months, so when he gets back, we're going to go back and get the initial general overview, the summary of, starting from the very beginning, turning the computer on, finding the right network to connect to, all that stuff, when Mr. DeVito gets back in April. Hey, Johnny.
Yeah. Are they using, is any of the county facilities, I'm not sure about Chestertown, I have to ask them, are they using any AI programs? Because that's getting ready to take, it's taking off.
Yeah, I don't know, but if you wanted to learn about it, I'm pretty sure Natalie could tell you about it. And I'm sure she could help us and give you advice on that, because she's only been with the county for 2 years, she told us, but she has quite a background in this computer stuff and computer applications and things. She seems to be very knowledgeable, and she's very easy to deal with. So if you wanted to say, I want to learn about what's the best AI application for me in doing this stuff, and we went there to see her, she would show us what's out there. So if that's something you're interested in, we can try to get that on the calendar. But you just have to look through and see what you want.
Do you want any board member that wants to do it, just contact you directly, or go through Val, email or something?
Yeah, either one, yeah. Like I said, you can go on your own on Mondays, you can just show up there and say, I'd like to have the drop-in computer training. They'll take you into the meeting room. There may be other people in there as well, it's just a drop-in thing. If you want to go kind of like with just the board members and ask questions specific, we have to make an appointment, and they do that on Wednesdays from 11 to 1.
Okay.
I think it was quite useful initially, and we'll be back with some more. And eventually, we are going to get to the Excel spreadsheet, like Gary was talking about, and a few other programs that are specific to what we do.
This is done on Excel, correct?
Excel, yeah.
Okay, any questions about the computer training? Moving on. In your packet, you'll have this two-page big chart. I'm gonna just give you a quick overview of the chart, just to refresh everybody's memory. The left column is when the complaint or we received, information, about a case that came in, and you go through when the board was notified, the PAB case number, the agency involved, tells you the investigating, agency, and then the complaint of charges, or a summary of it. And it goes all the way through, and then also on this chart, we have included when officers get, a thank you or, an attaboy, basically. Because we want to also show it's not all just bad things that the public's saying about the officers. So we include this in there, and this is on the county's PAB's website. Our next meeting is our quarterly meeting with the law enforcement agencies in the county, sheriff and the two police chiefs. We're going to go over, we're going to discuss the two cases that we've received since our last meeting with them, and just give you a summary of what happened, in case you had some questions that you wanted to ask the law enforcement heads when they come to the next meeting. So it's just because of when they came in. There was a case that was handled, we'll do 1022. That was a Kent County Sheriff's complaint. And I'm gonna ask Sev if you need to steer me, because I'm doing this from memory with no notes in front of me, what the case is involved. And remember, we can't get into specifics, personnel information, meaning the officer's name, the complainant's name, et cetera. But I can tell you what the case was about and how it went. In this particular case was, there was a citizen who was stopped in July.
Sounds about right. I don't recall the exact.
I think it was in July, and then months later, and nothing was, months later, she made an official complaint about the conduct of the stop, and it was investigated. She didn't even have the officer's name. She narrowed it down to like 3 people, and the Kent County sheriff was able to determine who it was by base.
Blending 2 cases together. I think the traffic stop one, she made a complaint about sort of general attitude. And we saw the body worn camera and that sort of stuff, and decided that there was not founded.
That was a Chestertown one, wasn't it, the DWI?
No, I wish I brought my books with me and stuff like that. It was north in the county.
You want to see this?
Sure.
I've got extra copies here,
You want to give them one? And I'm sorry about this, just, it's kind of tough without seeing the folders in front of you based on this.
I think we're going to keep it down to these lower ones.
It's,
You're talking about
I'm talking about the one on far left column, 1022, 2024.
Oh, okay, I thought you said July, but
Well, I thought,
you're right.
I thought that was
This was not a stop, it was that there was a
followed.
sheriff's
Yes.
car following somebody, and it made her feel uncomfortable.
Yep, yep, okay, now I'm totally refreshed. So, back in July, she left an area, a sheriff's deputy got behind her, but never stopped her. And she'd pull over, and he'd pull over, and she'd pull out, he'd pull out. And He didn't stop her. And then she made a complaint a while later. And, you know, she felt the way she felt, and that's fine. But this was, we found that the officer didn't violate any policies or procedures. He was trying to build a probable cause to make it an actual traffic stop, because you have to have probable cause to make the stop. He thought she might have been impaired. He was trying to watch her and follow her, and she knew it, and that's why she made the complaint. So, that's how that case went, and it got resolved. Then the second case, which was Chestertown PD, dated October 25. Basically, a citizen was stopped for driving without headlights. The officer had her do a field sobriety test and found out she wasn't impaired and let her go about her day. And she made a complaint, and in her complaint, it was more, she felt more embarrassed, I think, because she had gotten stopped. And she never alleged that the officer did anything wrong, but it was still investigated by Chestertown PD, presented to us. We reviewed the facts, and same thing there. The officer, we couldn't find any violations of criminal law or departmental policies. And those were the two cases we had for this quarter. I know it's not a lot of information, but those were the facts. Did you have anything more to add, Sev, on that second one?
No, I'm scared to open my mouth.
In the first case, there was never direct contact between the complainant and the officer. The officer never spoke to her, there was never contact.
Yeah, she didn't even know who the
whatsoever.
officer was.
And in the second case, and like, I don't sit in and review these cases, I just see the results when they come out. The biggest complaint that I could see there was that the officer wasn't sensitive enough to this woman who felt embarrassed. And that's the kind of complaints, and look, if they are the best and the worst complaints that you have with your police department in the county, you guys are doing a really good job. You know?
Yeah.
But that's the kind of stuff that is being generated and is being reviewed.
And I will say, you know, the ACC gets the ability to see all the video evidence, body worn cameras, car cameras, whatever they are. And the officer was nothing but very courteous. It's just how she perceived it at the time. And she was a little embarrassed, I think. And she, you know, she wasn't intoxicated, but he did his due diligence to make sure. So that's where I think that's where the gist of that complaint came from. Any questions about these? Like I say, the sheriff and the two police chiefs will be here on March's meeting. So if you had any questions, comments to them, that'd be the time to bring it up. All right, moving on. We're going to try to finalize this year-end report that's due. It's probably a little bit overdue. I'm wanting to give everybody one last shot at if they had anything to add they wanted to see in the report. There's a few things I'm going to talk to Frank about. Joan gave me some good ideas. The ride-alongs, the going to the community meetings, and put in what you talked about with the churches. I think that's a great idea. But if you have anything in the next day, please call me, email me something.
I'd like to see them bring back the get to know your police officer when they went to each town, you know, again, because they quit it when COVID come up. And a lot of people really thought that was great.
What was the program?
It was, would meet your officer, I think it was in August, I'm not sure. And they walked around each town, a couple of the officers did, greeting the public and introducing, you know, themselves to them and, you know, that type of thing. And it was really good.
Was it on a Tuesday night by any chance?
I don't remember the night.
They do National Night Out.
That's it,
Okay.
that's it.
So they still do that. They still do
I
that.
haven't seen them in Betterton for a while.
They
Yeah.
definitely do it. They did it this past year. I don't know where they were or how they did
Well, they
it.
could have been here, but I didn't see them, but I think that's a good thing to mention too.
Okay.
But didn't they, wasn't it merged with like something in Wharton, the National Night Out?
Yeah, they did something as a joint venture this year, and I want to say it was in Wharton.
Right,
It
it
was in
didn't come
Wharton
to the
Park.
town, right. And I think it does it better if they came to each town, because that way the townspeople get to meet them, and a lot of the children get to meet them, and they're not scared of a policeman when they see them out on the street.
So bring that up in the next meeting with the, like for good of the order or
In my
something.
head by then.
And if there's a certain event or time when you think this would
Well,
work?
when they did in August, it was nice, and, and a lot of the children were out of school, and they enjoyed coming out and seeing the policemen, walking around town and talking to them and everything. And that way, it's just like with the fire company, when we did the demonstration of an ambulance, because children are afraid of an ambulance, or when you come in your uniforms, they freak out. Well, it's the same with police officers. They freak out when they see them because they think, oh, I did something wrong, And I think if they go out and meet them and just see, talk to them out in the public, I think it gives the children a much more understanding of what a policeman does.
For sure. National Night Out, which is what we're talking about.
Yes.
It's obviously a nationwide program. Here lately, I think a lot, because when I did it as a young cop, we used to go to, neighborhoods, like the neighborhood you worked in.
Right.
And, but now, because of resources getting stretched thin, et cetera, I think the agencies have gone back to doing more of a collective thing. And you miss some communities.
There's a
So-
lot of the people too,
So, yeah, so
because
talk.
you've got young and you've got old that can't get out there for that
Right,
thing.
so, bring that up to
Yeah.
them when you, the next meeting. Because that's stuff that they want to hear.
All right.
All right, does anybody have anything good for the, good,
Yeah,
for
I
the
just
good
have
of the world?
one other question here. Now, you indicated that you and Frank had set a meeting with the Kent County Council.
We came to, it was actually, Pete and I came to the county commissioners meeting, and then Frank and I attended Chestertown Town Council meeting and Rock Hall's meeting.
Okay, yeah, that was my question, if
Yeah.
you attended any
Yep, and
town council
there's,
meetings. Since
And
there's
I
a
think
lot.
that was in conjunction, we took the annual report and gave it to the community leaders there. And as soon as we complete this one, which is a little bit behind, as soon as we have last year's completed, I think we'll be doing the same thing this year.
and the reason why we went to there and not the other ones, but I do think we probably do need to reach out to other ones, Betterton, Millington, and
Kalina,
Galena. Is,
Kennetville.
the ones we went to is ones that have law enforcement, and,
Right.
and the board directly, affects that end of it, so, but I'm all for going out and sharing it with the other community,
Absolutely.
and talk about what we're here for, et cetera. So,
There's visits gonna be in our annual report.
yes,
Reported, they'll be
Yeah.
reported. Good.
all right. Anybody have anything else? Okay, get a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?